Hello, and welcome to the Kooksquad channel. Today, we will be cooking some food. Now, if you've been a long-time follower of this channel, you know that our origins kind of started in cooking videos. For good reason, those videos are private now. But now we're going back to our roots to make some creamed spinach mac and cheese. Mac and cheese basically, but the spinach makes it look healthy. Now the ingredients we'll need for this recipe will be pasta, unsalted butter, 1 sweet onion, 3 cloves of garlic, salt and pepper, flour, nutmeg, spinach, milk, and not that disguised water, fontina, cheddar, and Parmesan cheese. And finally, crispy onions. Alright, first things first, always have your PPE. Kitchen's a dangerous place and you never know what's gonna happen. That's why I keep the toaster over there, because it can't be trusted. We'll start off by dicing the onion. Now that that's diced, we'll move on to grating the cheese. For this recipe, it asks for 12 ounces of fontina cheese. Fontina cheese is pretty expensive, so we got 5. Instead, we're gonna supplement with cheddar and Parmesan. Just take your handy dandy grater and don't wanna make a mess. Now that we can catch the cheese, we're just gonna wrangle it in there. Next, we'll need 6 ounces of cheddar. We're going to put 8 because of this cheese's lack of trying. Once again, nice and easy. Lastly, the recipe calls for 2 ounces of Parmesan, but we don't want to be left out on cheese, so we're going with 6. But before we mix that together, we're going to need a bigger bowl because this recipe is getting too healthy already. Next, we'll take our 3 cloves of garlic and cut those up. And we'll just put those off to the side. This time we're going to want to start our oven to a nice toasty 350 degrees. While that's warming up, we'll set a pot over medium heat. We will add 4 tablespoons of butter. There's this handy little line to tell you right where to cut, and we'll go right above that. We'll also add in our onion at this time and freshly cut garlic. And we'll just stir those in until they become good friends. At this time, we'll add a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. While those are getting to know each other, we'll start on our pasta. We'll add a tad bit of olive oil so they don't get too friendly. Now that the water is almost at a boil, we'll put in the pasta. We'll want to make sure this gets nice and soft. Something that might help you get the softest pasta possible is to make sure it's born after the 2000s. You can be sure that it will be as soft as heck. On the other hand, if it was born in the 90s and is listening to Nirvana, then you should probably ask them what their 3 favorite songs are and then call them a poser. Now that the onions are as soft as you want your pasta to be, we're gonna add some flour. The recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of flour, but I'm not the boss of you. Do what you want. You're gonna want to stir this in until it gets nice and brown, and then we'll add some milk. Now that we're starting to get a golden color, we'll add the milk. Recipe calls for about 2.5 cups. We'll go 1, 2, and a half. We'll stir that in. Put in the nutmeg, which requires 1/4 teaspoon, which I also do not have to measure, so we're just gonna eyeball this bad boy. That's about right. Now it's ready for the green stuff. We're gonna put about 12 ounces of spinach. It'll start off overflowing, but will soon settle into the mixture. Now that the spinach has calmed down a little bit and gotten friendly with its neighbors, we're gonna add the cheese. Now we're gonna put almost all the cheese in here, but reserve a little bit just for the topping. That's good for now. We'll also take our 2000 spaghetti and we'll slowly mix this all together. Careful not to make too much of a mess. Now that that's all mixed together, we'll mix our remaining cheese on top. You may notice I've added a little bit of Mexican cheese. Finally, we'll add those crispy onions. Recipe calls for about 4 ounces. We'll now put that in a 350 degree oven for 35 to 30 minutes. While we wait for that to cook, a few things I should mention about the meal. It is in fact not that healthy, even with the spinach. If you make it how I made it today, it is made to feed 8 people. If you've already gotten started and that's too much, well, I guess you're having leftovers. If you need more, then I guess maybe go to a trip to Costco. Also, while we're waiting, now is a good time to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't, and leave a bunch of comments about how bad I am at cooking and how you're so much better and you're the next Gordon Ramsay. And if you're unlucky enough, maybe I'll do this again in another 10 years. There you have it. Cream spinach mac and cheese. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.